Do you ever wonder where poetry, both good and bad, comes from? Well, according to the Viking Age, or at least according to ancient Norse mythology, it comes from Mead. And not only that, but bad poetry comes from the mead pooped out of Odin as a bird. Let me tell you about this story. First, hi, hello, happy Monday. I'm trying this new thing called Mythology Mondays. I'm teaching Norse mythology, so I figured if I'm telling my students these stories, might as well share them with my audience too. Hopefully you enjoy. So a long time ago, there's this giant named Suttung. He steals from the dwarves mead of poetry. And giants, if you know anything about Norse mythology, are quite hated for the gods of Norse mythology. Odin hears that Suttung has this mead of poetry, and he says, no, the giants can't have anything, I have to have it. So he comes up with a plan. Odin being Odin, his first part of his plan is that he comes up with a disguise, and he disguises himself as a farmhand named Bolverk. And spoiler alert, Bolverk literally means evildoer. And he goes to Suttung's brother, Baugi, and he says, I will work for you the whole summer for free if you do something in return for me, but I'll decide what it is later. Baugi says, okay, that sounds like a good deal. Why wouldn't I take that deal? So Odin, as Bolverk, works for the summer. And once the summer is over and he's completed this task, he goes to Baugi and he says, I hear your brother has something called the mead of poetry, and I want one sip of it. Just one. Baugi says, that sounds reasonable. And he goes to Suttung, his brother, who has the mead of poetry. But Suttung says, absolutely not. I don't trust this. So Baugi gets angry because that's the one thing this worker has asked for. And they both decide to scheme together to steal it from his brother. So their plan is to take a drill through a mountain into the hall that Suttung has where he keeps his mead of poetry. And Odin does that, and then he transforms into a mouse to slip in this tiny hole and then get to the mead of poetry. But what he doesn't expect is that it's guarded. Odin transforms back to his other disguise as Bolverk, and he meets this giantess who's guarding the mead. Her name is Gunlod, and he says, yeah, I'll sleep with you for 3 nights if you give me 3 sips of this mead. And she says, you're pretty hot. Okay, let's do it. So he follows on with that plan. He makes good of his promise. Except when he gets to the part where he can sip the mead. See, he takes 1 sip of the 3 barrels of mead, but that sip is so big, it drains barrel 1. Then he takes a sip of barrel 2, and again, he drains barrel 2. Then he gets to the final barrel, and he does the same exact thing until there's no more mead of poetry left in the entire hall. Right before anybody could figure out that they have not even a single drop of this mead of poetry left, Odin transforms into an eagle and he flees. And a few moments later, all of the giants realize they've been tricked and the person they've been working with this whole time is Odin. So they gather up an army and they chase after him. But all he needs to do is fly over the wall of Asgard and he's home free. See, as Odin is still going though, some of his poetry mead goes through him. And the other end is where it comes out, right? And that's where we're said to get bad poetry. See, whatever doesn't go over the wall of Asgard, that's where bad poems come from. But eventually he does make it over the wall. And once he does, he throws up the rest of the poetry mead into the barrel that all of the gods of Norse mythology are waiting for him on the other side, and that's where good poetry comes from. So now you know the story of how we get poetry, at least according to Norse mythology. What do you guys think of this story? Is there any part of mythology, whether it's Norse or anything else, that you want me to cover? Hopefully you like this new little thing, that experiment that I'm doing. And if you're one of my students, then this probably sounds very familiar to you.